This is the MLW Radio Network. This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace world, and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We're going to cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I am your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie, what's on your mind?
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah. Motherfucker.
I know they lost last week, but I'm still in my glory here as a my Philadelphia Eagles shit the bed, but no one expected them to do anything this year. So, there's that. Normally we don't kick off with sports talk, but it needs to be said that Dallas sucks. So I don't hate Cowboys fans, really. It's just like the ones from Jersey and Philly that annoy me. Brother, don't you have any civic pride? When people shit on Philly and Philly fans, they're basically talking about Philadelphia citizens, which you are one of. So, but Cowboys were supposed to go to the Super Bowl this year. Who knew that they would lose in the first round again? So. Fuck it.
I feel like the Cowboys always lose in the first round of everything. Yeah. I don't even recall. Maybe the Pod Squad. Shout out to the Pod Squad as well for joining us today while we record.
Yes.
Maybe somebody can Google this while we're talking, but when was the last time the Cowboys even went to a Super Bowl? Because I can't remember. I remember watching the Bills and the Cowboys in 90, was that 91 or 92?
No, their heyday was like 94, 95, 96, maybe.
Yeah, I don't even remember. But in any event,
imagine being a fucking. I love I love Buffalo. I like the Buffalo Bills. The Eagles are my team, but they went to 4 straight Super Bowls and didn't win one.
Yeah.
So, and ESPN did a 30 for 30 on that.
Really? Oh, that was probably incredible.
It's called the Four Falls of Buffalo. But Buffalo, I'm not making light of your situation because I actually love Buffalo as a city. Your uniforms are fucking tight with the blue. I'm a big fan of the Buffalo Bill uniform. I'm a diehard Eagles fan. I've said that. I feel like when I pay another team a compliment, I have to say I love the Philadelphia Eagles. But fuck the Cowboys.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. It looks like Andrew Bailey jumped in here as well. It was 26 years ago, their last Super Bowl in 1995 with the Pittsburgh Steelers, my second home in Pittsburgh.
They have the longest streak of not going to a conference championship game, which is like 11 years.
So I guess my question is, why do football fans continue to elevate these folks as if they're like the dynasty, right? Because when you think about it, nobody talks about the Chicago Bulls like that anymore, right? The Bulls were the team of the 90s, right? But they're not the team anymore. So at what point do we all say, because I feel like we're past that point now, right?
That's a great point,
we're past. Thank you,
Mr.
Sir.
Barnyard.
Thank you, sir. Andrew Barnyard is here to answer all the hard questions and ask the hard ones too. But it's at what point do we say, okay, they're not the team that we used to be. Let's stop elevating this team and move on.
Hey, I mean, when the Bulls lose a game, they don't go, yeah, but we won those things in 90. We won all those championships in the 90s. The only fan base and team that talks about what they did 26 years ago are Cowboys fans. It's insane. It's like Al Bundy talking about throwing those touchdown passes at Polk High.
It reminds me of Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. That's what they are. The Cowboys are the Uncle Rico of the NFL.
It's like they Eagles finally won a Super Bowl.
Right.
But before the Super Bowl, they had won 3 NFL championships, which Cowboys fans refuse to acknowledge because that would mean the Eagles have almost as many championships as the Cowboys. They won a championship in 1948, 1949, 1960. They were the only team to beat Vince Lombardi in the playoffs ever. The man that they named the Super Bowl trophy after, the Lombardi trophy. The Eagles were the only team to ever beat him.
Wow.
So, but we're not allowed to acknowledge that because it wasn't called a Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl itself is just a gimmick. When there was, the AFL and the NFL, and they would meet yearly. But now, the NFL acquired the AFL. So it's all one thing. So they call it the Super Bowl is just a gimmick name, right? It sounds better than saying World Championship when America's the only team that plays American football. so they give this name the Super Bowl, but before it was the Super Bowl, it was the NFL Championship. So the Philadelphia Eagles have 4 of those, but the Cowboys fans have 5 Super Bowls. So they want to have the one-upmanship of saying, we have 5 Super Bowls. And the Eagles only have 1. No, motherfucker. We were the best team in football for 4 different years. So kiss my fat ass.
There we
How
go.
about that?
Kiss my fat blue ass is where we should say. I think for me, the way I think about it, it's okay, well, it's still a championship, right? Because
yeah.
So to bring it back to wrestling, which is what we do.
Oh, I got a perfect analogy, but go ahead.
But I'm thinking
first.
about the big gold belt, right? I'm thinking about the World Heavyweight Championship. So Dolph Ziggler won that belt. Dolph Ziggler is still a world champion. It doesn't matter that it's not the WWE championship because it's recognized as a world championship, right? Or, Taz is an ECW champion. He's a world champion. That is recognized as a world championship, right? So for me, I think the distinction is kind of odd, that they won't recognize those original championships, the NFL championships as tight, you know what I mean? Like a win. I don't know why what's the lineage breakdown of that? How come it's not, is it just Dallas being Dallas or is it just, rabid fans not wanting to be realistic about a championship win?
Bruno Sammartino was a 2-time WWF champion. So when they went from being WWF to WWF, he was still recognized as the world champion. Now WWF is now WWE. They still recognize Bruno Sammartino as holding the WWE championship. So, I mean, a champion is a champion is a champion. So,
agreed. And I think anybody that is not on board with that can kiss Meanie's fat blue ass and kiss my fat Slovak ass. But speaking of kissing asses today, Meanie, I am glad to be here. I don't know if that's a good transition or not, but first things first, I would love to give a shout out to former co-host Josh Chernoff.
Yeah.
And his incredible new position with Fight as the director of programming. I would be remiss not to mention that at the top of the show. We are very excited to be able to talk about that out loud and acknowledge and get the word out for him. That is exciting shit. We're very proud of him here. We are looking forward to seeing what happens next. And I'm incredibly high. It's well-earned, well-deserved, and we are very proud of Real Daddy on the show here.
Absolutely. Josh was the first person that came to mind when I was like, oh, man, let me do a podcast. And then as, we started doing the show, we started doing shows on Fight, and he was giving them tons of content between So Says Chernoff and mine and Meanie that they were like, hey, man, this guy's got a skill here. He's got talent here. And he started acquiring more duties there, and they made him an offer, and it was, I could not in good conscience go, hey, it's mine and Meanie or nothing, pal. I got the call, from WWE. I called Nova. He was the first person I called. I was like, hey, man, I got this offer to go to WWE. He's like, dude, go do it, And then that night, Nova called me they were doing a loop in Florida. And, Nova called me on the cell phone, and everybody in the ECW locker room got on the phone and said, good luck, gave me their best. So, like, for Josh to get this, this opportunity to fight, how can I, in good conscience, go, dude, no, you got to stay here. But also to credit to Josh, he wanted to protect the brand of mine and the Meanie, and that's where you come along.
Yep.
He had done an interview with you, and he said, hey, there's this dude Adam out in Pittsburgh. He's got a really good podcast, and that's when we start doing those test runs.
Yeah.
To find our footing, get a feel for each other. I was like, yeah, he's great. Let's do it. So. And it was hard to keep that secret, from, we try to be as open as we can with the pod squad. Yeah. But also, I'm a big believer in if you talk about something before it happens, it's a jinx.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I have all right, now I'm in talks with two different things about two different possible scenarios I can't talk about right now because I don't want to jinx it. And, let the cat in the bag too early. Like, I learned a lesson from Howard Stern. Like, one day on the Howard Stern show, he talked about doing a cartoon called Howard Stern, the high school years or the teenage years. And never came to be. But for the rest, the next 20 years, he had to explain, hey, where's that Howard Stern, the teenage years, Just like I kind of... how I'm always answering the question, whatever happened to the Blonde Bitch Project, They ran the 2 teasers for it and never aired the rest of it. So, like, for the rest of my career, I'm explaining what happened. So, in that, with Josh, we didn't want to, let the cat out of the bag too soon. It was up to fight to get all the contracts ready and signed and, stuff like that. So, now that it's official, and Josh has made the announcement. I gotta say I'm very proud of him, very happy for him. He's always had that like entrepreneurial spirit about him. Where teenage promoter, running shows, doing this, doing everything, and he's made this career path for him just off of sheer hard work and ingenuity thinking. So, I'm happy for him, and there wouldn't be a mind of the Meanie without him.
Right. Which I'm grateful to be here as well because I never in a million years, man, when I started my show, I'll be like, oh no, yeah, never. I never thought I'd be doing a major wrestling podcast with the Blue Meanie, and here I am. And honestly, it's because of Josh, and it's and his faith and trust in me to steer the ship, and also, your trust and your support and approval. So I'm just grateful, man. I'm grateful all the time for both of you, and it's just I'm really excited to see what happens. Perhaps, Josh, we got a great show for you that we can bring on board if you'd like to. Well, here's what we'll do. I'll have my people call your people. And then we'll link up. But no, we're hyped for it, man. We're really excited. Looking forward to seeing what comes next. What I'm not looking forward to is talking about all the fucking death in the world right now, though, brother.
Oh, my God.
In 24 hours. So as a little inside baseball, we're recording this on January 21st in the year of our Lord, 2022. And both Meatloaf and Louis Anderson have died in the span of like less than probably 12 or 14 hours.
Dude, it's sad. It's sad. I'm a little bit older. So when I was a youngster, they were up and coming. Well, Meatloaf had a head start. He was 70s, with Bat Out of Hell. But, Louis Anderson, I used to watch him on the Rodney Dangerfield Young Comedian special. Ironically enough, I think he was on there with Bob Saget. Wow. Bob Saget did those same specials as well. So in the course of a week, we've lost 2 comedy legends. Bob Saget and Louis Anderson. You know, in the heyday, you know, growing up, you know, born in the 70s, but growing up in the 80s, stand-up comedy was the thing. You could turn on any channel almost at any time, and there was like a half-hour comedy special. There was Evening at the Improv. MTV had the half-hour comedy hour. You know, VH1 had, you know, stand-up spotlight, you know, hosted by Rosie O'Donnell. And you saw Louis Anderson on TV a couple times a week, you know? And, you know, or, you know, he's always on Johnny Carson or, you know, the talk show circuit and stuff like that. It's just, and he was funny. He you know, he was in, you know, Coming to America. He made a cameo in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, you know, and just between the voice and the persona, he you know, had an amazing shtick, so to speak. And then, you know, with Meatloaf, I mean, talk about a guy who was his own genre of music, really.
Yeah.
Just he was rock and roll, but he was also kind of classy, you know. Yeah, you know. I like my rock and roll with a little bit of opera, cuz
A little bit of class.
Yeah, a little bit of class. Raise my pinky with my natty light. But no, talk about a legend. You know, he came out with, you know, had Bat Out of Hell, and then like, I mean, he's part of one of the most iconic movies with the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
And not even just that, but also Fight Club. You know, Meatloaf was Robert Paulson. That he played an instrumental role in that flick.
Yeah.
And you know, cross-generational stuff.
He was a focal point.
I'm always hyped to see people like cross those generational lines, you know, because I feel like it's like even with Bob Saget, or even to go back a little bit further into the month, because we're only 21 days into the month and everyone's dying. But Betty White is another one. I mean, these people who just transcend, you know, age groups and generations. It's crazy, man. And I remember Louis Anderson from a show called Life with Louie, which I think was a cartoon back in the mid 90s. And that was the first time that I had met or seen rather Louis Anderson at any point. And it was just shocking today to learn that information. And it's like, oh shit, Meatloaf died. And I was like, oh my God, Louis Anderson. But as we always talk about, it's the same thing all the time, man. It's like time is such a finite and weird thing, you know. It doesn't make any sense, and it's just, I don't know, man. It's a shame. It's a shame to lose both of them, and a shame to continue to lose more people like that. But
yeah, and you know, as you get older, you're like, man, like the you know, Rolling Stones saying it, what a drag it is getting older.
Yeah,
it's because and now we live in the information society where information's instant.
Yeah,
you know,
right away,
between social media, cell phones, all that stuff, you can see things, something that just happened, live in living color, you know. But that news broke today, and you just mentioned Betty White. Oh my God, I forgot. You know, that it seems like once you're done mourning one person that was a part of your childhood and part of your life, you're on to another, and it's a shame. It's a shame, you know, because, you know, they were such a part of, you know, they were a huge part of my childhood between, you know, Betty White and the Golden Girls. You know, I think of the Golden Girls, it brings me back to watching TV with my grandmom and watching, you know, sharing a laugh with her, or, you know, me being a big fan of stand-up comedy, Louis Anderson, Bob Saget, you know, and now Meatloaf. I mean, he was the soundtrack of, you know, the 70s and 80s and, you know, the 90s as well.
Yeah.
You know, 3 decades, you know. And you know, you can't replace that, or you can't duplicate that. He was his own genre of music.
And you know, it's a shame, man. Like there's no other way to put it, but I'm hoping we don't have to continue to have these conversations about multiple famous people dying every week, because it feels a little bit like 2008 all over again. You know, like remember that summer of 2008 when like everyone died? DJ AM and I think Patrick Swayze, Ted Kennedy. Like it was just like one person after another. Like, can we just get a break for a second? Can we just stop? Can we not do this anymore?
DJ AM was he had the plane crash, right? Or
so he was in a plane crash with Travis Barker. I think it was about a year or a year and a half before that. But his death was a direct. He was also a Philly guy too. He was born and raised in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And his death was actually a direct result of that. He was in recovery. And when the plane crash happened, he had like had a bunch of PTSD and anxiety issues, and he started to use again. And then they found him dead in his apartment. Really tragic story, though. I mean, the guy was just unbelievable. If you've never heard a mix by DJ AM, I mean, you really got to go out of your way to find it. But he is, I mean, just an innovator with the tables. Just incredible work. But
Travis Barker's recollection of that accident is scary.
Yeah.
You know, he talked about that on the Joe Rogan podcast, and man, just think of all the people we almost lost the airline between Flair being in a plane crash and all this, just to survive it. Just it's one of the biggest things. Biggest fears. It's one thing to be driving. When something happened, you have a chance to maybe jerk the wheel and avoid it and stuff like that. You're in the air. Right.
There's nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do.
Oh my God.
Nightmare
fuel.
There's actually, I remember watching ABC News, and I'll talk about this in a second because this is something that I have a real problem with, and I don't know maybe if you share it, but they had aired video of the police officer's dash cam from the plane crash. So if anybody's not really familiar, if you're listening out there, you're not familiar with the story, Travis Barker and DJ AM were involved in a plane crash. I want to say it was 2007. And Travis Barker was the person who woke up DJ AM and actually saved his life. And there was a bunch of both of the pilots died. Their assistant and their bodyguard died in the plane. And they actually somehow Barker was able to get himself and DJ AM out of the plane and down the wing of the plane. They were both pretty much on fire. And I'm not laughing to make light. It's just it's insane to wrap your mind around. I mean, they had second and third degree burns on their bodies. They almost died from that. And the video was it was horrific. It was ghoulish because it's a scream that is unmistakable in those types of situations. The way I mean, Travis Barker is putting himself out and he's just screaming in pain. And I think for me, watching that stuff or having it in my brain, it's just so invasive. It's just such an invasion of someone's privacy. It's an invasion of someone at their worst. Just as a recent example, Alec Baldwin. All right, Alec Baldwin was involved in that shooting that happened on the set of that show, Rust. And someone was, I guess the paparazzi was taking photographs of him outside of the police station. And he's doubled over, crying, probably dry heaving because he just killed somebody accidentally. Yeah. For me, I feel I don't know, maybe I pick your brain on that a little bit, but it's I just feel it's such an invasion of someone's life. We're humans too. I would not want someone that close to me or filming and then releasing what if something happened in one of my family and someone died and there's someone filming it, and it's Adam Barnard's family, watch his reaction. I don't want anybody to see that. That's I don't know. What do you think about that?
It's an unfortunate thing of, where we are, instant, information. And unfortunately, people profit from that, just, I've been through some crazy things, the whole JBL thing happened to me on live on pay-per-view. And I'm still talking about that to this day. Even though me and John have made up and we're good, we're friends, we had a moment that was on live TV and, we can't take that back. We can't erase it. And the unfortunate thing is people only remember the initial headline. They don't, remember or see or bother to look for any kind of retraction or follow-up, So something that could be put out there in an instant without somebody thinking, oh, how's this going to affect that person? They record it and they put it out and they put their, money in the bank and then they're on to the next thing to capture. Now that person's got to explain that situation, whatever it may be. I'm not just talking about the Baldwin thing, just that person has to live with that thing being explained over and over and over again for the rest of their life. And meanwhile, the person who captured it, they're living their life, you know. And it's unfortunate, you know. I can only imagine, you know, I brought up the JBL thing, and I can imagine, you know, me and John are like, Jesus Christ, you know, we're over it. Let's move on to the next thing. I can only imagine somebody on a higher level, you know, dealing with that, you know, people with, you know, living with people staked outside your house and stuff like that, you know, that level of fame, you know, where, you know, you don't know who to trust, you don't know where to go, you don't know how to sell, you know, because it's not the incident that they want to capture the sell of it, how you put it over, how you sell it, you know. And that's, you know, that's why I always say, you know, the best sell is the no sell, you know. There was like footage just came out from what's John Cena's new show,
Peacemaker,
and it was just like an outtake, but like and Mrs. Meanie, you know, pointed this out to me, you know, the one girl kept flubbing her lines and she's laughing and laughing and laughing, and John's just standing there, you know, stoic, because as a wrestler, you're taught how to. The no sell is something that's ingrained into you, and he's like just standing there, like not laughing, not selling, no. But you know, that is just another point that, like, if something happened to John out in public, you know, he would learn. He would pretty much learn how to no sell that as well. So, and that's what, you know, that's the point I'm trying to make with these, you know, the paparazzi and all this stuff. They want the emotion, they want the selling, they want, you know, you could be sneezing and they'll be like, oh, the Blue Meanie in tears, you know, as I'm going, achoo.
Yeah.
They get a still of that, and they say a picture's worth 1,000 words.
Right.
They can take that photo of me going, and Blue Meanie devastated over this, that, and the other thing. Not that, you know, I'm selling newspapers or anything like that, but me as an example, if I was on that level of fame to where somebody can, you know, profit from it, you know. It's, just as Donna Henley said, we love dirty laundry, you know.
Well,
kick them when they're up, kick them when they're down.
First of all, great song. Second of all, there's a video, I think, out there of John Cena being prodded by somebody who's trying to take a photo or something, and he's just shopping, and he's like, hey man, can you not film me, you know? And like, CM Punk recently just tweeted something about that, like, hey, you know, guys, we're in the middle of a pandemic, like, let's not fucking follow me to the airport, which I feel like is a reasonable request, even if it's not a pandemic. Like, he talked about it in the pipe bomb, and I'm sure a lot of that was real. Like, I'm sure that happens to you guys all the time. It's like, you're in the middle of an airport, it's 4:30 in the morning, you're probably starving, you're exhausted, you got to fly to another city, and here's somebody shoving shit in your face, and it's like, guys, can you just back off a little bit, you know? And
what the deal with that is, it's one thing for a fan to recognize you and come up and say, hey, can I have your autograph? Sure. Sign it. But somebody comes up with you a stack of 500 photos.
Right.
And they expect you to stand there and sign each and every one of those photos. It's just like, it'd be one thing if you said, hey, I'll give you X amount of dollars, $100, sign this. Okay. Then there's like a business relationship happen there.
Right.
But you want him to sign 500 photos for free, which you're going to turn around and flip. It's unreasonable, you know. Not that like everything needs a dollar, you know. Not that you need to charge fans, you know, in an airport, you know, for, you know, if a fan comes up, all right, I'll sign that. You know, it's not like we're at a convention,
right?
You know, where I'm selling my own merch, my own wares, so to speak. That's a different business arrangement. But when you're out in civilian life, doing your thing, and you want to pose for a photo or sign an autograph, fine. But a stack of 500, you know, and I'm just throwing a ballpark figure out there. No, I saw that shit happen with, you know, not that I, you know, when I was there in the Attitude Era, you know, people going up to Steve Austin, hey, can you sign this? He goes, I will sign 3 of those.
Right.
And that's it. and these are like high class, fucking high quality color prints that they, want to flip and stuff like that. Now, if a guy went up and said, hey, here's a couple bucks, can you sign? Steve would be like, all right, bang them out, It's a if you want to, make profit off, somebody's likeness, at least give them something for it,
Well, it's like,
But
we were at Icons.
But with the Cena thing, yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, with the Cena thing. No. I'm just rambling too, because like the show's called Mind of the Meanie, and like there's so many twists and turns and ups and downs, and I'm going to a million different places. But Cena, I saw, and you bring up that clip, and he handled it very professionally. Cena is like the Jedi master of how to interact with people. So,
I think that's what the point of that guy like egging him was like he was trying to get a reaction out of him.
Yep.
You're not going to get a reaction out of John Cena like that. Are you crazy? No. This dude's not going to do that. He is I mean, of anybody I've ever watched, that dude is probably the most well-trained of anybody in public that I can think of. There's no way you're going to get the pop out of him that you want to. But no, I think, even what I was saying was even when we were at Icons, it was, yes. I won't say who, but I was in line to meet someone to, take my own photo. Because at the end of the day, I'm still a fan. And there was a person in line that was at their table. I can't even recall how many photos. There had to have been at least 100. And they're signing them, and they're just flipping them. And the guy was like, here, do this now, do this. And it was this very weird dynamic, right? And it was this very weird exchange that was happening between them because the guy was like kind of being aggressive with this particular wrestler. And it was like,
right.
I understand there's a business arrangement, but at the end of the day, these are also people, right? And there has to be a level of respect that comes with that. Even when hanging out with the BAM crowd, there were people who, we'd be at Kildare's in Westchester eating dinner or just grabbing a drink. And it's like, no one's out partying. We're not doing anything crazy. It's just, BAM and a couple of us hanging out. And people would come up and sit down at the table. It's like, guys, what the fuck are you doing? This is not an open invitation. Like, I can recall one time specifically, and again, this is not Mind of the Atom, I get it, but just sharing a story to relate.
We're having a conversation, sir.
We're having a fucking conversation. So we're at this table, and we're having dinner. And I went to the restroom, and some girl came over and sat next to Bam. And at the table, I just so happened to sit next to Bam at the table. And she comes and sits down right in my seat. And I'm like, yo, like, I want my seat back. We're at like a round table, so it's a 5-top. Like, listen, I want to sit down. And she literally gives me like a puppy dog face with her lower lip hanging out. Like, can I sit here? First of all, sweetheart, my girlfriend, who's now my wife at the time, she's way more attractive than you are. And second of all, get the fuck out of my seat. Like, this is, my food is here. You're now breathing on my food. Like,
right. Right.
There has to be a level of, I don't know if respect is the right word, but maybe it is. Like, you have to respect these people enough. Like, they don't owe you anything, right? Nobody owes you anything. And I think that's the most frustrating part for me anyway, is to see that. So it's, I just get very frustrated when I see those things in public and people at their lowest moments or people being goaded into their lowest moments. So.
There was one time at the airport where a couple gentlemen come up to me with a stack of 8x10s. And it's 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning because they book you on the first flight out. I'm tired, I'm miserable, I'm sore. And, they give me a thing of photos to sign. I'm just like, no, I'm good. And I'm getting in line to check out. So what they do is they're there with their kids. They send the kid over.
Oh man.
So they're pimping out their kid because who's going to turn down a kid, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
If you turn it down, the Blue Meanie turned down the kid for an autograph. He's such an asshole. Just holy shit. Some people go to certain lengths to, Right now, I wish I had my 48-year-old mind back then to go, oh, what's your name, sweetheart? Let me sign it to your name and, personalize it. That way they can't sell it,
I had, to mention icons as well, which hopefully Meanie and I will both be there this year. We'll see. We would love to see anybody there. But Eric Bischoff, I saw him again at Icons. And, James, I took my oldest son because he wanted to meet you. So I was like, come on, buddy, let's go down, we'll hang out. And Eric was there. And I said, look, buddy, that's Eric Bischoff right there. And he goes, oh my God, can I go say hi to him? I was like, yeah, sure. And I walked up because, having him on Foundation Radio was a big deal, which is my program, which you can listen to at foundationradio.net.
Yes.
And it was a really big deal to have him on the show. So I talked about it a lot. And, James was really excited for me, my oldest. And he went up to meet him. And I said, hey, man, hey, Eric, nice to see you again. I said, my son was really excited that you were on the show. I said, he really wanted to meet you. Now, I'm sure he hears that like 100 times because it's a little kid. But like at the same time, like this was a legitimate situation where it was like my son, So I would never pimp my kid out or do anything like that. Like all of the interactions that I've ever had on social media with, like even the Goldberg thing, like that was something that like that James had instigated and wanted to do. And it just so happened that, Bill responded to us. But yeah, I find that stuff to be so off-putting, and it's just like, guys, don't be weird about this. Just, you're making it weird. Stop being weird. And, you were talking about going to great lengths, but Meanie, it's time to go to great lengths this year in 2022. Cheers to 2022 and resolutions you can actually keep. How about having clean and shiny balls all year round? Our sponsors at Manscaped are here to save your balls this year and make the ball drop into 2022 the cleanest and sexiest ever. Set your brand new, I know you're all out there with your New Year's resolutions. Set your first New Year's resolution with good intentions and join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. With our exclusive offer, go to manscaped.com right now and use promo code Meanie20 for 20% off and free shipping. It's new year, new me with the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming this year. Take your package to the next level with their Performance Package 4.0 and brand new Ultra Premium Body Wash. Inside the Performance Package, you'll find their signature Lawnmower 4.0. This electric trimmer is designed to trim hair on loose skin, and the advanced skin-safe technology reduces cuts and nicks on your delicate nuts. It also comes equipped with a 4000K LED spotlight that will shine a light into the promised land 2022 looks to be. A grooming routine also isn't complete, Blue Meanie, without applying the Crop Preserver and the Crop Reviver before showing off your 2022 self. These unique formulations take care of the smelliest parts of your body and are a big boost to your confidence into the new year. To complete the set, Manscaped also threw in their Shed Travel Bag and anti-shaving boxer briefs as free gifts to keep all your goodies stored comfortably. And the new product needs no introduction. The Ultra Premium Body Wash from Manscaped solves all 3 of your issues for the perfect addition to your daily grooming routine, but also in the shower. I definitely shower every day. I know we discuss this every week. Meanie, I hope you do as well. At least twice or 3 times a week.
Yes.
And, you want to make sure that everything is taken care of and your body is smelling good. Your body wash smells great, too. It's cologne infused with aloe vera and sea salt to keep your skin feeling clean, nice, and moisturized. Kick discomfort and poor hygiene to the curb this year and use the best tools for the job. Meanie, I know that I am down here getting Little John and the East Side Boys ready for a brand new year. I know we can't control a lot of the things that have already happened, but that's one thing I can control is the hair on my balls. And Meanie, how are you feeling about the hair on your balls this upcoming new year?
It's a veritable forest. You got to take care of the trees, take care of the shrubbery. But, Manscaped's got so many good things between their deodorant, their hydrating body spray, body wash, 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. And they even have a lip balm, believe it or not.
Crazy, man.
But, hey, a little suggestive. But, hey, I'm a big fan of the foot spray.
Yeah.
I say each and every week, I'm a huge mark for the foot spray. Take a nice hot shower, wash down with the body wash, use their shampoo, but then you spray your feet down, go to bed, and you wake up and you feel refreshed. I'm one of those, I got to take a shower before I go to sleep kind of guys. So, no, I wash down with all the fine products they've given me and, spray down my feet, because a long day of trying to get my steps in, You know, my feet take a pounding. So spray those down, go to bed, and wake up feeling refreshed.
And don't forget to let poor hygiene take a pounding this year as well with freshly shaved balls. Whether your resolution is to work out more or travel to new places, be sure to travel to manscaped.com right now. Go right now as you're listening to the show, but not while you're driving. When you stop, pull over and go to manscaped.com for our exclusive offer of 20% off plus free shipping with using the promo code Meanie20. Cheers to new balls in 2021 and Meanie. Cheers to balls everywhere and great lengths we take. I wasn't sure how to transition that one there from a serious topic to shaving our balls, but somehow we did it, sir. So we are here. Actually, Vanessa, I'm really going to reach out to them. I'm going to reach out to Manscaped and see if we can add that save a bundle when you shave your grundle to their copy, because I feel like that is just fantastic. If you'd like to send us over some copy that we can send to Manscaped, go to follow us at Mind of the Meanie, and we'll start adding some fun phrases into that. But
fuck it, we'll just do it live.
We'll do it live. Oh, well, fuck it, we'll do it live. Also, shout out to our soon-to-be sponsors. Hopefully coming up soon.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
We are hopeful that is still going to happen as well. Sam actually put this in stereo. I don't know if you can hear it. You'll hear it on the replay, but made it fancy for 2022.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
It's so sexy and loud in my ears. It's wonderful. So
goes in one ear hole, out the other one.
That's right. It just literally it just caressed my brain. Pod Squad, how are we doing, guys? Great to see everyone today. All our guys and gals are here. You
need to join us at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie, where there's a lively conversation going on in the chat room there with all our fine folks who join us each and every week at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie.
We would love to have you there as well. So go right now. You'll get a lot of amazing content. Meanie and I have a lot of cool shit that we're working on coming up down the pipeline when it is safe to be back in public. And also, too, you get to hear our hallway conversations, which is the show before the show. So you get a little bit extra part of us talking and hanging out with our cool team here. Jimmy, little Jimmy from Nebraska. Eric is a wonderful guy. Excellent person. What else is going on here, man? I'm just trying to go back through the comments and see what's going on here in the group today. Just tweeted.
Also, they talk about people we lost. We lost Queen Kong from Glow.
Yeah, I was just pulling it up from Vanessa here. That's two people from the show now, right? It's Queen Kong and Angel.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So,
crazy, man.
Yeah, that's the Pod Squad keeping us current here because there's so much going on.
It's hard to keep up. Yeah,
but Glow, talk about another huge part of pop culture from the '80s. People still talk about that stuff. And Queen Kong, she was in a whole bunch of stuff between the Aerosmith's "Love in an Elevator" video, and I believe she was on Married with Children. Stuff like that. Yeah. So and they redid They did a show based off the show Glow on Netflix, which was an excellent show. And I'm disappointed they didn't renew it, but
it's a pretty solid show.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get a chance to watch John Moxley's return?
I did not, but I will say, somebody put out a before and after of right before he went away and him coming back, and he looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Good for him. Sometimes it's one thing to have a problem, but it's another thing to realize that you have an issue and you need to take care of that issue and come back looking as great as he did, man. He looks like $1 million, man. Good for him. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Renee. She's, stands by her man. And, they just recently moved from Vegas back to Cincinnati, which is pretty cool, moving back to his roots. So I'm happy for him. Anytime somebody can better themselves, I'm here for it.
Absolutely, man. And I really enjoyed that promo. I thought he did an incredible job. It seemed like if it was from the heart, it seemed very, and a lot of those things too with recovery. I mean, it's very, those things can be devastating to someone's life. And the fact that he was able to acknowledge it and went to go get help, you can't ask for really anything more, and I'm happy to see him doing well for himself, which is fantastic.
I'll say this too. There's nothing more heartbreaking. I'm not saying this about John, but I'm just saying in general. When you know somebody has a problem and they refuse to acknowledge it, and their problem is everybody else's fault. That's the thing with addiction. I don't have a problem. You have a problem. Why are you trying to hold me down? Dude, you're literally falling asleep while you're talking to me. No, I'm not. There's been times where I've gone to have a match with somebody.
Oh man,
you're talking to them and they're all upbeat and all that stuff, and all of a sudden they disappear and they come back and it's just like it's like Betty Bye time. They're and you're like, oh.
Now
here we go.
Now let me ask you. Let me ask you a question because that's a good question, a good segue into a topic, I guess. Don't name any names. But
Right.
I'm curious, as a performer, someone who's basically you're trusting your body with another person in the ring. How scary is that for you to know that someone is impaired like that? Because I guess the real famous example, I guess, would be Sting and Jeff Hardy at Victory Road.
Right.
That is, I mean, it's uncomfortable to watch. But
it's a shame.
And it's a shame, too, because he's literally fighting his demons. Like, you're literally watching the demons take a hold of him in the ring.
Yeah.
How scary is it? Go ahead.
And Jeff is such a sweetheart of a human being,
Yeah.
You hate to see that. Even if somebody's a dick, you still hate to see it. But.
Yeah, I mean, you still don't want anybody to self-destruct. I mean, that's not the goal for anybody. But like, I guess the question is, how scary is it for you as a performer when you're in the ring with someone and you're like, oh my God, they're fucked up. How am I going to get through this? Like, is there any way to protect yourself? Is there a way to keep yourself safe while you're performing? And how quickly do you go home? Like how quickly do you say, okay, that's it, we're done?
Well, full disclosure with everybody with the exception of the Sandman, because he seemed to work better impaired. I don't know.
Shout out to the Sandman.
The Sandman is the only guy who can really pull that off. But then again, back in the day, a lot of the boys would fucking, have a couple brewskis before going in the ring and stuff like that. So it's just to the point where, without naming names, there's, you just, and thankfully it was a tag match, so I wasn't the only person in the match, but I was just like, man, it just, you try to do things where it doesn't involve them picking you up.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I think I'll go for the suplex. No, you won't. Hey, that's a good idea. Instead for the suplex, how about you go for the suplex and I'll do a inside cradle,
and go home.
Thing.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of times where I've been presented with a move that I wasn't comfortable taking, and I would, negotiate, saying, hey, I don't think it would look good if I took that move. How about we do this? And then they go, oh, okay, so. You're protecting their move,
Right.
But meanwhile, you're like, dude, if I take that, I'll fucking die.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's also situations where like somebody's wanting me to take a move and it's just like, okay, but then I have to be right up and sell for somebody else. Like in a battle royal situation, which you're not really supposed to bump in the battle royal, but like in a situation where somebody's just, they're not there. It's just, hey man, let's try this instead, kind of thing, and try not to be in a situation where they had to pick you up for a body slam or a suplex.
Right.
We're just going to be working a couple holds there, pal, and hopefully get through this thing in one piece. And there's only been like maybe a handful of situations like that where somebody's been like, they're fucking whacked, and it's just like. And they're in total denial about it. And it's like, man, just, it's heartbreaking, to watch them be like that and be in denial about it, So that's why, when it comes to John Moxley, he had a situation that, I didn't even know he had a situation. That's how well he covered it, But for him to say, hey, I got a situation, I got to go take care of myself, come back and look fantastic, that's a testament to him as a human being and as a performer, just to say, hey, I got to take care of this shit. I'll be right back. And then he comes back and, looks fantastic.
I think I hesitate to say, like, oh, hey, congratulations, you beat the beast, because anyone who's ever known anybody in recovery or that's been in the throes of addiction, it is a lifelong maintenance. As soon as you think you have a beat, you don't anymore, and then that's when you could potentially fall back. But
that's where you kind of have to surround yourself with good people too. You got to keep your circle small.
Absolutely.
And there's certain people who inspire that, conduct or that addiction or whatever your vice is. You're going to have to either tell that person no more, or you're just going to have to just totally cut that person out of your life, because they're going to be like, hey, one beer ain't going to hurt. Just one hit of this joint. Yep. Not that, pot's bad. I believe pot's like probably the only drug that's good for you.
Right, right.
Even it's better than pharmaceuticals, but, less addictive. They did I forget what comedian said, but they did a study on weed, and the study showed that it makes you eat cookie dough. And then there's people who benefit from your addiction. There's a documentary done by, I want to say Chris Bell, called Prescription Thugs. And it shows you, how, people benefit from, addiction and prescription meds and stuff like that. And you just got to learn to recognize it and figure out, reroute your daily life to avoid those avenues of addiction,
And it's just I am happy for John and his family. I think it's a wonderful thing, and I hope that I hope the road to recovery is not rocky. I hope he continues to beat the demons and continues up on his maintenance, and I think he's gonna do really well. One other quick question for you: in the news, Sami Zayn has re-signed to WWE for another long-term contract, according to Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful. How are you feeling about Sami Zayn's prospects going forward in the Rumble?
Good for him, man. I know it's popular to hate WWE, and it's popular to want their demise because they're the evil empire. But just the fact that Kevin and Sami resigned shows that it can't be all that bad, right?
Yeah.
I wish I could have worked there a million years, but hey, you're eventually hired to be fired in any situation. NFL coaches say that all the time. As soon as you get hired, it's the countdown to the day they fire you. And the same with wrestling. You're hired to eventually be fired. As hard as it is to get a job somewhere, it's even harder to keep that job.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But Sami's so fucking entertaining.
Yeah.
He is that character. That character isn't a character. That's him.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cliff Compton, who's told so many good Sami Zayn stories when he's delirious and stuff like that. If you have the High Spots network, go watch the old Kevin Steen shows. Where Kevin they tell delirious stories of him just being that guy. So some of the, and that's another thing. Some of the best characters are people's own personalities turned up.
Yeah. That's what Bruce says. You take that character, Vince McMahon, Mr. McMahon, that's his character. That's him as a person turned up to 11. And
yeah. And that's why in the heyday in the 80s, they would find out what you did in your real day job, back in the day, and make that your character, because Big Boss Man worked in the penitentiary, so okay, we'll make you a correctional officer because what that person did.
Right.
So,
right, you can utilize that. So I'm excited. I got to tell you, and I've said this a couple of times, that Sami Zayn has been a part of some of my favorite on-screen stuff recently that I've seen in I can't even recall how long. with the Brock Lesnar and being involved with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, like all the Canadian besties. Shout out to Paul Heyman too, and Sami Zayn for retweeting Daniel's interpretation of that. My son Daniel will walk around and yell about Canadian besties going moose hunting in Saskatchewan pretty much all day. So anytime Paul is on the show and he's screaming, you definitely have Danny's attention. But no, I think the stuff that they've been doing with those characters is just nothing between the four of them has missed. There hasn't been one angle that they've done with any of them that's missed for me, and I can't wait to see where they go for it. I would like to see, I got to tell you, I would like to see Sami win the Rumble this year. I really would love to see that because I think there's so much you can do with that, and I think you really can in the right circumstances, and I'm sure I'm going to get heat for this, but I think in the right circumstances, you can pull off a Sami Zayn title win with a lot of gaga and a lot of bullshit, and it would be right in line with his character, and I think it would be incredible. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I got to say this. People, you can shit on creative all you want, right? WWE's creative is fucking horrible, whatever. But it's also on a talent. I mean, you're in charge. I don't care what creative books for you. They can't control you from the time you walk through the curtain through to the time you walk back through the curtain. Something you don't like, do something. Try something. Throw something out there.
Yeah.
Spitball. A lot. Do some quick improv. You can take a proverbial turd in the punch bowl or chicken shit and then turn it to chicken salad. It's up to the wrestlers have the power, the performers have the power. They can't fire everybody, If they give you something to do and you're not really thrilled about it, go out there and try something that's maybe even better. And what's the worst thing they could do? Don't do that again. Or at best, they go, man, we loved what you did out there.
Yeah,
let's work with that. Some of the best things in wrestling have come from guys just going out there and saying, "Fuck it, let me try this," and it working. At worst, they say, "Don't do that again. I don't want to see that ever again." At best, they go, "Man, that thing you did, that's great. We can work with that. Let's try something with that." And Sami Zayn is that guy. He is a character. I'm sure he can go out there and just freelance.
Yeah.
And they go, okay, he's got something here. Let's work with that. The moment you can give creative something they can work with or expound on, the more valuable you are. I just did some interview and somebody said, what's the best piece of advice you gave, to a young talent? And I want to say it was Between the Ropes or
Inside the Ropes.
Inside the Ropes, yes. I did an interview for Inside the Ropes, and the interviewer was like, I helped coach Damian Priest and Matt Riddle. Not so much taught them how to wrestle, but how to navigate the business. And some of the best advice I could give is be the talent that creative has to tell to tone it down. And instead of being the talent that they need to inspire to do something.
Right.
It's better to go out there and go, hey, man, dial it down a notch. Instead of being the guy where they say, man, we can't get this guy to do anything.
Yeah.
Go out there 100% with whatever. And, if you have an idea, just do it.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it. What are they going to do? Say, don't do that again? You go, oh, okay, I won't do it again. And if you do something and they like it,
then you're ready to go.
They know they can rely on you. They know they can, trust you with their TV time because TV time is so valuable.
Right.
To get that TV time, maximize your TV time and just fucking take a fucking chance. Don't rely on, creative. Be your own creative.
Make it work for you.
And that way. Creative would love to take advantage of something you came up with and make it look like they came up with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, Steve Austin came up with Austin 316 on his own. Nobody knew he was going to say until
he ripped that off his cuff, right?
Yeah, that was a freestyle, freelanced moment. He asked, you know, Michael Hayes, hey, what? He went to the hospital to get stitched up, came back and said, what'd I miss? Oh, Jake did this promo about, you know, he's like, oh, yeah, religion, blah, 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 blah. He goes out there and goes, Austin 316. Boom.
And that's it. That's it. And the rest was history, man.
Go out there and find your own thing that people can attach themselves to. You know, creative didn't come up with that for Steve Austin. Steve Austin came up with that for Steve Austin. It's up to you as a performer, but you go through that curtain, you own that time. Make that time yours.
Yep. Meanie, do you know what time? Do you know what time it is?
I think you might have some questions for me.
I believe so. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Would you like to do that?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Don't forget, every week you can tweet us your questions at Mind of the Meanie using the hashtag AskMeanie, and we will pull your questions up on the program to ask. Got a handful of questions here today. Pod Squad member Anthony Camerata says wrestlers used to appear on game shows like Family Feud. If you got the chance to be on a game show, what show would it be? Who would be on your team? And who would you be going up against?
Dude, like I grew up in an era where there was game shows all the time. $10,000 Pyramid, Match Game, Joker's Wild, Tic-Tac-Toe.
Yeah.
Hollywood. I would love to have been on Hollywood Squares. Center Square.
Circle gets the square. Yeah.
Definitely Hollywood Squares, because that was like that or Match Game.
Yeah.
Match Game was really good, you know. And then they tried to do the combination Match Game Hollywood Squares hour, where they would take the same cast from Hollywood Squares and they would rearrange the thing and it became Match Game.
Yep.
You know, definitely Match Game was pretty fun because that's, you know, pro wrestling, that's improv. You know, they ask you a question, you got to think something funny to say there on the spot.
Right.
Yeah, so definitely Match Game.
Johnny Danger wants to know, hey, Meanie, if Stevie hadn't left the group in 97, what do you think the BWO would have gone on to achieve? More members? Championships? Dueling factions like Hollywood versus Wolfpack?
That's a great question. I don't know. I honestly don't know. Stevie was. It's a shame Stevie left too, because he was getting a serious singles run. He probably could have kept going for the TV title or the world title or TV title. Who knows what would have happened? I didn't know he was leaving until he showed up on Nitro. You know, I was in Florida on vacation, and we tuned into Nitro, and there's Stevie. I was like, oh, well, there's that.
There's the end of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And, you know, me and Stevie and Nova kind of had like a rift for a little bit over that, but we're cool now, obviously.
Right,
you know?
right.
But at the time, you know, me and Nova had to, you know, ride the bench for a second, because why would they use us? We could just be the next two to leave.
Right.
You know? But once they realized we were sticking around, me and Nova started having a run with as a tag team. I wish we could have had a run with the tag belts.
Right.
I think me and Nova were having good quality matches, you know, with whoever we were in there with. And that's a credit to Nova, because Nova, you know, helped push me. Nova motivated me a lot, you know, because, you know, he's you know, you see everything he's done with, you know, helping younger talent in OVW and stuff like that. When he went to OVW, he was helping out down there. So Nova's got a great mind for the business. If Stevie had not left, that's a great question. I don't know if he could have had a run for the, you know, the world title. Me and Nova maybe run for the tag belts. Who knows? As far as extra members, probably not. I don't know. It depends on, you know, depends on the mood, you know, or what Paulie was thinking at the time, you know. But we started off doing parodies, and that was the crescendo of us doing the parodies. I don't know if we would have done more parodies. Who knows? But again, hopefully, ECW wouldn't have went out of business either. So
that would have been the goal, though, right? Yeah, not to have it go out of business. Yeah.
Here, there's that factor. But in the perfect world, he would have had to run for. Stevie would have had to run for the a major singles title, and me and Nova could have tried to had a run for the tag belts. I've always my whole career I've been a tag team wrestler. I've just from when I broke in with Al, he always had me tagged up with somebody, and I was always in tag teams. And go to ECW, I'd get involved with Stevie. There's another tag team, and then Nova. There's another tag team. So everybody wants to be a world champion. I would love to have been a tag champ.
Brutal Barbie asks, what's the craziest ECW moment you saw or were a part of, and did you and New Jack get along?
Oh, yeah, me and New Jack totally got along. I did a forward for his book, his autobiography. Craziest thing I witnessed in person? Oh, my God. There's so many known things. I was there for mass transit. I was there for riots. Just the Travel Lodge alone, the Cylinder of Sin in South Philly, there's so many things there, you witness.
If Adam from Downingtown could ask like a 1B to that, as something like the mass transit incident is going on, what's going on in the Blue Meanie's head? Like, what are you like? Are you like, oh, fuck? Or is it just like, hey, this is just another day at the office?
It was kind of just another. It was fucked up, but then details start coming out that the kid lied about his age. He lied about his experience. Like I already knew he kind of fucked up because he's in the locker room. He's smoking. He lit up a cigarette sitting next to Taz. And
what did Taz say?
Taz just looked at him like, "What the fuck?" I think he just walked off. I don't even remember. I didn't even want to be around. It's kind of like when you see something happen, you just kind of like, oh, I'm going to go over here. I don't want to get any blood on me.
Yeah.
But
the Homer Simpson into the bushes. I'm out of here, dude.
Whatever that is, I don't want part of any of that shit. But you knew he kind of he went up. He's telling the guys spots he wanted to do. Which is, if you're first day in the fucking locker room, you don't do that. So, and the whole thing that could have been avoided had he said he was trained by Killer Kowalski, and Kowalski always came to those New England shows. But for whatever reason, Kowalski didn't come to that loop that weekend in Boston. If Kowalski had been there, he could have went, I don't know who this kid is. He ain't fight one of my kids, and we could have just shit-canned him.
Yeah.
But then again, that all could have been avoided if Axel had made the weekend loop because he was a fill-in for Axel Rotten.
Oh, right.
It's supposed to be Axel and Devon versus the Gangsters, and Axel, he's told two different stories where I couldn't come because my grandmom's sick, and then he goes on the documentary and says, they didn't want to fly me, which Axel normally drove to that loop. So who knows? But there's a whole bunch of what ifs in the mass transit thing. But kid, brought it on himself. I'm a wrestler when I'm not. Yeah, I'm 18. I'm not. Can you please cut me? Which, if you look at New Jack's forehead, if New Jack's willing to do that to his own forehead, what do you think he's going to do to your fucking forehead?
Right. And you're inviting him to yourself at that point, asking him to cut you.
If I want somebody to remodel the front of my building and do brickwork, I go and look at their work. Let me see some of the things you've done before I invest my money. Oh, that looks beautiful. Yeah, reface my house. Oh, I want to bleed in this match. Let me look at your forehead. Oh, okay, you have minimal damage. Like I've gigged. Look at my forehead. You don't see any fucking gig marks here. I have gig marks, but you'd have to fucking look for them.
I think there's a handful of people that I can think of off the top of my head that I would never ask to blade me or to cut me. And at the top of that list would be New Jack. Second would be second would be Abdullah the Butcher, and 3A and 3B would be the Dudley Boys. I mean, Devon, they all have it on their
Well, Bubba never gigged.
Well, I mean Devon, but
But Bubba would take Devon's blood and put it on his own forehead to make it look like he was bleeding because he was too scared to cut himself. Love you, Bubba. But
shout out to Bubba and Bully Ray and Dave LaGreca, the guys that busted open. So was there any, I guess to go back to it with New Jack, anything wild that would have stood out to you that you were a part of besides like just ECW in general?
Oh my God, there's that. I mean, there was a story where, well, it's not a story because it fucking happened. Sabu would travel in a Winnebago, mobile home, which, again, him being ahead of his time because now wrestlers rent tour buses. WWE guys rent tour buses and stuff like that. Sabu was on that with, the mobile home. So Sabu had his mobile home parked outside the ECW arena. And I think Chris Candido and Tammy were going to go to Sabu's Winnebago. And that was my computer chiming in. I don't know if you heard that. Tell that to fuck off. And next door to the ECW arena, which was the Viking Hall, which is a Mummers Brigade. Mm-hmm. People, it's a bingo hall. No, it was a Mummers Clubhouse, which they happened to do bingo to raise funds for the Mummers Brigade. That's another story. There's a club next to ECW arena, which the Mummers go like their own bar where they go and have drinks and stuff like that, kind of like Alex Lodge, where all the money goes back towards the club and stuff like that. So as Tammy, Chris, and Sabu are going to Sabu's Winnebago. Some of the Mummers are coming out, and somebody said something to Chris or Tammy, and there was an argument. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. And a fist fight breaks out. Chris Candido's younger brother, Johnny, was with him. Johnny Candido runs to the locker room. Help, they're beating up Chris. So the fucking locker room fucking hears that, and we all run out. And it's just a fucking melee, between the Mummers and the ECW crew. And like fucking Tommy Rich and fucking Too Cold Scorpio are knocking fucking people out, and fucking Big Dick Dudley's out there fucking manhandling people like a bear, and it just became this big fight. And eventually, I don't know if anybody called the cops, but eventually it just ended where we went our separate ways. And I don't know what the payoff of that brawl was, but Chris and Tammy got into an argument with somebody from the Mummers Brigade, and big fight broke out. His little brother, Johnny Candido, comes in the locker room and goes, fight. They're, fighting Chris, Everybody loved Chris, so, fucking locker room cleared.
Yeah.
Fucking everybody ran towards the back door. It's towards like this back door area, but it was also the front of the arena, which I think now is the current entrance to the building, which they used to be just like a cargo dock, loading dock for like parade floats and stuff like that. And
right there at 2300, right? Right in the front there? Yeah.
Towards the old Foreman Mills.
Yes.
So, it was just a big fucking street brawl. And it's fucking crazy.
Ross Tona wants to know, what's the origin of the Meanie Dance?
Oh, it was a happy accident. Just Paul goes, hey, can you dance? And my face says, yes. My brain saying no. And there's been like variations of it. When I first got to DCW, they wanted me to have a dance off of Bubba. So I made this, it's like goofy, kind of like the Elaine dance kind of thing, from Seinfeld. And no, I don't watch Seinfeld, but I know the Elaine dance. So But then, me and Nova started being a tag team, and I'm still doing the dance thing. And Nova was doing the raise the roof, coming out with his hands up. And I would do it, but, like, I would kind of dishevel it. So, like, the Meanie Dance was just basically a disheveled raise the roof. Because, Booker T was doing the raise the roof.
Right.
So Nova started doing the raise the roof. So I tried to do the raise the roof, but I turned it into, this, the arm, one arm at a time and shake the hips because, as they say in what's that golf movie? It's all in the hips.
That would be Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, to me, all his movies are the same anymore. But just
this is
Happy Madison.
Yeah, that's the name of his production company. Is Happy Madison?
Yes,
I feel like that's enough of a joke for him. He's like, yeah, it's true. We got time for 2 more questions, sir. We're gonna hit up the pod squad here. Little Jimmy from Nebraska asked, if you were currently wrestling with WWE, who would you want to have a program with?
Oh man,
who wouldn't you want to have a program with? No, I'm just kidding. Who would you want to do?
I wish old school Otis would have been great.
That would have been funny as hell. Yeah.
We could have had a lot of fun with that, with me dancing, him doing the fucking worm and stuff like that. We could have done a lot of things. I like Otis a lot, too. He reminds me of Vader.
Yeah.
I mean, man, that's a good question. Because you also have to think between Raw and SmackDown where you want to go, or shit, or you even want to go to NXT.
Right. It's a shit ton of talent in NXT, yeah.
I mean, I would love to work with Sami Zayn. We were just talking about him, but he's so far up the card right now, so he's got world title aspirations. Yeah, I'd probably have to say Otis. A couple big, even though I'm not a big fan of, I'm a big guy working with another big guy, I think we could do some fun things. I love Otis as a person and as a performer.
Last question for today's episode. Anthony Camerata asked, what can you tell us about your days wrestling as white trash? And was that before the Zebra Kid?
That was like a one-off gimmick. So I started wrestling in the Ohio, Michigan area, Canada area. And there was a promoter, Machine Gun Mike Kelly. Well, he's a wrestler too, Machine Gun Mike Kelly. He started running shows called Great Lakes Wrestling. And he wanted me, and there was this other kid, Geza Coleman, who wrestled as Crom. He wrestled as Kodiak Bear. He had a stint. He had a fight, and he was in the UFC for like 2 seconds. Dan Severn brought him in, and he almost won, but he had a cut, and they stopped the fight early.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted me and Geza to do a tag team, kind of like a knockoff of Public Enemy. And he wanted to call it White Trash, and we're just going to be a knockoff of Public Enemy. And a little piece of history, our one and only, well, me and Geza had tagged before for Sabu, but we weren't that. We were, he was Crom, I was Brian Rollins. So this was after Zebra Kid. So, and this is right around the time where I'm starting to go to ECW, and I'm going to Michigan, and I do like 2 shows for Mike. Our first match was against a guy named Shooter Sean Brown and a young Rhino. So,
wow.
ECW Rhino. So there's footage out there. I don't know who would have. I've been trying to get my footage from those shows when I was out in Michigan, and nobody seems to fucking have them. But we wrestled Rhino in a tag match. It might have been like his second or third match. I was on Rhino's first show ever. That I tell the story about. When I wrestled Johnny K-9, Bruiser Bedlam.
Mm.
Well, that night Rhino made his debut. For Scott D'Amore. But this show for Mike Kelly, we wrestled a young. He was going by. I think he was going by as Rhino Richards at the time. So, yeah, but that was just a one-off thing. We were trying to be a knockoff of Public Enemy, and it was like a one and done. I forgot about it.
But you know what's not a one and done? Blue Meanie is the mind of the meanie, And we appreciate all of your questions, Pod Squad, and everyone out there who's tweeting at us using the hashtag AskMeanie. And you can hear your question asked sometime on the show. Blue Meanie, where can everyone find you on social media?
If you would like to follow me, which if you haven't already, I am on all social media platforms at Blue Meanie BWO, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, which I don't know how to use. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Blue Meanie. I also have a line of beard care at madcatbeardcare.com. I'm wearing the BWO-inspired Mad Cat Beard Care BWO shirt as we speak. So go over there, check it out. It's a good cause for takes care of feral cats, that they, to help rescue back to health. The guy does it on his own dime. So every dollar you spend there goes to that. If you want to support Mind of the Meanie, go to prowrestlingtees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Follow Mind of the Meanie on all social media platforms at Mind of the Meanie. Also, I'm on Cameo if you would like a well-wish, birthday wish, anniversary, whatever. Be creative. Go to cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO.
And if you'd like to follow me as well, you can find me on all my social media platforms, Twitter and Instagram at This Is Goober. You can also check out my interview show, my conversation podcast called Foundation Radio. You can find it the same place you find Mind of the Meanie on all streaming platforms right now. You can also support my show by going to prowrestlingtees.com/Foundation Radio. Meanie, it is always a pleasure to do this program with you. Always excited to have another episode each week and get a chance to kick it and shoot the shit. I enjoy this very much. Thank you very much for your time, sir. For the Blue Meanie, I'm Adam Barnard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind
Blue World Order
of the Meanie. Peace.
Blue World Order.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie was recorded and produced by Adam Barnard and was engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional production and narration provided by Sam Krebs. Our executive producers are Josh Chernoff, Adam Barnard, and the Blue Meanie. Our opening theme is performed by the Swamp Candles. Our closing theme is performed by Chikara. The show contains original music produced by Enrichment. Get additional bonus content by becoming our patron on Patreon at patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Mind of the Meanie. This has been a Butts Carlton media production in conjunction with the MLW Radio Network. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
Dad, why is Blue Meanie's brain out?
The world of MLW Radio never stops.